Hey everybody, this is Frankie S. Abbruzzino for Mayor, City of Venice, and I'm putting out this video message in regards to development. I'm doing this because SRQ magazine came out and there was something quoted in there by the mayor that I just wanted to touch on. And then also somebody just wrote me about a process that the developers are going through, and she wanted to bring up awareness to individuals before they purchase these houses. That email should be out probably before this one, but I'm not sure. I'm still proofread. I have to proofread what I've written up. So basically, if we look at quote what John said, he said he notes that while there has been consternation about growth around Venice, much of it has occurred outside the city limits. He notes that the city council recently approved the planned development, but on land already zoned for development and a lower housing density. So I wanted to touch on this first. What he was referring to is property over by Burger King. And the guy who said, I want to build affordable housing. He would not commit to it. They didn't put it in there. What's his definition of affordable? If I buy a house on the island for 500,000 and I can get the same house at Burger King for 400,000, to me, many that's affordable. But that's not what we're trying to get for affordable here in Venice, is it? I don't think so. His neighbors were fine with it, the area in there, so they said, okay, we'll rezone it. And in that type of situation, I'm fine with it. Where I don't like the rezoning is when you go into a neighborhood. A good prime example, the Border Road folks with Neil. They went in there with the understanding that the zoning was X. Neil went in there a few years later, buys a property with the understanding that the zoning is X. He says, well, I want to change that zoning. He goes before the committee, which then goes before the council and says, I want to change the zoning. And the council changes it. To me, why? Those people bought that house expecting X zoning. Why are we changing it? We shouldn't be doing that, folks. And that's a big difference between the zoning that he just approved over Burger King. Although I have issues with, is it really going to be affordable? The guy seemed honest enough. Now, on the development aspect, if you look at some articles, and I'm going to post the links on this video, one from WWSB, one from the Herald. Ed Lavelli, he's the city manager. He came out just last year in July, and he said, we have essentially approved 6,000 new homes within the city of Venice. That's 6,000, folks. Now, John may be correct that they're not all developed yet, but they're approved for developing. Okay, so I don't understand how he can sit there and say most of the new development's been outside the city of Venice. Think about it. We're a city with a population of what, 21,000 people? You add 6,000 homes. And even if there's only 2 people per home, that's 12,000 new people coming into our city. Our population is going to go from 21 to 33,000. I think Ed Lavelle, with the actual numbers and looked at something like our population essentially doubling over the next 5 years in another article. I don't know if I'm putting that one up there. And what's really crazy is when they look at their budgets, they're forecasting growth of only like 500 or 600 people next year. Well, how do you get growth of 500 or 600 people when you've just approved 6,000 new homes to be permitted? I'm not getting the math there. John, during our forum, John said, well, I'm great in numbers and you need to be great in numbers to be a mayor. I'm not great with numbers, but I'm smart enough to know that that doesn't make sense. Okay. He says he's not for development, yet he's been pushing to get Mike Miller. Mike Miller has a history of going bankrupt on a lot of projects. He has a history of pulling shenanigans before the council, and you can look it all up online. I think I even wrote an article on all this stuff. And he needs to be vetted. And I don't have a problem going with Mike as long as I understood this is what we expect. And there's some controls in there. I brought up, okay, and we're talking about the circus property here now. John is pushing to develop a hotel there, 80 to 120 room luxury hotel. I said to one person, I said, what about the infrastructure there? And she said, oh, we're going to have shuttles. Who the heck rides shuttles, folks? That's not going to alleviate the traffic there. Nobody's looking at the infrastructure. I brought up at the forum, and you could tell people were like, whoa. When I brought up my usual analogy when a firefighter contacted me a year or two ago, and he said, look, right now during tier season, these hotels, these hospitals are booked, and they're filled to capacity. So if we get someone that broke their leg, we have to route them to another hospital, let's say Northport. Meanwhile, if your grandmother's having a heart attack, and nobody can get there in time because we're in Northport, guess what? She's out of luck. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about infrastructure, folks. So John, you got to not only look at he's not exactly right. There's what 6,000 new permits here in Venice, according to the city manager. He's also not right about not being a advocate of growth. He wants a hotel there. He's excited about a possible hotel Pineapples. Now, I haven't heard much since that guy came in. There hasn't been a lot of disclosure, but that's what they're pushing for in that Pineapples area. He wants to take the post office and move it. And he actually said, this is one of the reasons why you should vote for me. I want to move the post office and put a hotel there. Think about it, folks. And he's not planning on infrastructure or anything. Do we really want a hotel there? And the whole deal, if you looked at that post office deal, they made it very unattractive because they don't want to do it. And they've even said that. But John at 2 city council meetings ago said, I'm painting a rosy picture. I think we're going to do it without even transferring any money. And he went into this whole scenario. Okay, so the bottom line here is, folks, it does come down to development and growth. For controlled, sustainable growth, we need to do it. I realize that. Or do you want out of control growth like Mayor Holick has been advocating for 6 years and will continue to advocate while doing the comp plan? The city comp plan is coming up, folks. And this is just like this Laurel property. They want to rezone. They want to go, I think, 4 or 5 stories versus the 3 that they're approved for now. Everyone living around there doesn't want it. They had a city planner, an expert, great guy come up, and he was very convincing as to why it's not a good idea. Okay, and they said, hey, we got to hold off. You guys go back to the drawing board, and they're coming back before the 28th, on the 28th. I think it's the 28th, and that's their drop dead date. They have to come up with a decision. You want to know why? Because they're nervous that on November 8th, I'll win the election. And if I win the election, that thing may not go through. I can tell you, based upon everything I've heard at that meeting, and I listened to until about 6. I think it actually went till 12 at night. But based upon what I heard from 9 to 6 at that meeting, I would not approve it for the rezoning. And they know this. And they know John will. Okay, and that's just one difference. I think I might put out a video touching on each different segments of this stuff every once in a while. So this is the segment covering development, and this is why you want to go with me. Share this video. I'm going to have it on my YouTube channel. I'll put that out in a little bit. I'm going to have it on my website, theuncensoredreport.com, and you're having it here right on Facebook and on my Twitter account and my LinkedIn account. All right, everybody, this is Frankie. Remember, share it with people that live in the city of Venice. Get out there and vote November 8th and push for Frankie for our future.